Joker 2 Folie, Deux, I'm sorry, I don't speak French, is the newest comic book film stirring up controversy and dividing fans. Hey there guys, grab some popcorn and turn those frowns upside down because I have a lot to say about Joker 2. Arthur Fleck is institutionalized at Arkham awaiting trial for his crimes as Joker. While struggling with his dual identity, he falls in love with a stalker who has a slight clown fetish. And thus, the movie inserts tons of musical numbers as romance filler. This is the sequel to the 2019 Joker from director Todd Phillips, which is now the second highest grossing R-rated film of all time. And in all fairness, movies are a business as much as I consider them an art form and pure escapism from this harsh reality that we call life. This movie made $1 billion. Of course it was going to get a sequel. But was the sequel necessary, or was it simply a cash grab? I first want to say the bare bones concept to this film is really intriguing. If you told me the Joker would be stuck in Arkham Asylum, and then the second half of the film would deal with the consequences of his actions in this courtroom drama, that sounds pretty awesome to me. But unfortunately, what we get is essentially a $200 million epilogue that takes a few risks, but I don't think they paid off. Now, before we dive into the negatives and I get super hyperbolic, let me first talk about some of the things in this film I rather enjoyed. I liked the grounded, realistic approach to the original Joker film in 2019. I love a deep dive into madness. I love psychotic characters. And I like that the Joker 2 picks up dealing with the repercussions of his actions from the first film, because in reality, when criminals do bad things, they typically get caught. And I liked seeing Joker in Arkham Asylum sort of at his low point, and he sort of regresses back into Arthur Fleck, and that confident, crazy anarchist, the Joker, is a bit subdued by this point in the film. Going into the new Joker for the last year, I've heard rumors and rumblings on the internet that this was going to be a musical. And did that help my anticipation for the film? No, but I was still intrigued to see it. And as a dude who doesn't necessarily love the genre of musicals, though I can appreciate a really good one like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which is sort of dark and morbid, where he just murders little kids in his chocolate factory, but I really enjoyed that. Or The Wizard of Oz. Because the movie wants us to believe at this point, Arthur Fleck is now disillusioned and coping with reality by daydreaming of musical numbers, which for me just felt like romance filler to explain his relationship with Lady Gaga's character Harley Quinn. And though they don't technically call her Harley Quinn, she's essentially Harley Quinn, so for the sake of the video, I'm going to call her Harley Quinn. Real quick, I want to give this film some constructive criticism, and keep in mind, this is coming from a guy talking about movies in his underwear. But if they felt the need to put musical numbers in this film, they should have truly went balls to the wall and given audiences the true clown prince of Gotham City. And rather than be bored by these sequences, they could be the highlights of the movie. But what you get is the complete opposite of that. And by the fourth or fifth musical number of the film, they sort of just become mind-numbing, and they all sound and look the same. And with each new one, I could feel the energy being sucked out of the audience when they watch the movie. Let's talk about the character Arthur Fleck, played by Joaquin Phoenix. The majority of runtime throughout this film is dedicated to the character Arthur Fleck, not the Joker, but that's sort of reminiscent to the first film, where the Joker only really comes out during the climax of the film. And for me, his portrayal as this demented, unhinged psychopath that's still somewhat likable and you still root for him, I think it's done to perfection. I think that's a testament to his acting ability. Throughout this film, I think Arthur Fleck smokes like 797 cigarettes. And speaking of that, whenever Arthur tells the guards of Arkham Asylum a joke, they give him a cigarette. I almost wish this movie would have focused more on the backdrop of Arkham Asylum, and don't get me wrong, they definitely do for the first act of the film, but had this been The Shawshank Redemption meets Joker, to me that sounds like a fascinating concept. Sounds a lot better than a musical, doesn't it? One other thing I liked with the character Arthur Fleck in this film was it delved a little bit deeper into the psychological reasoning of why he becomes Joker. That entire persona is like a psychological defense mechanism. It's almost like a suit of armor. And when I looked at the character from that perspective, I liked it more. Let's talk about the Joker's love interest in this film, Lee Quizell, not Harley Quinn, though we will just call her Harley Quinn. Now, when they first announced Lady Gaga would be playing essentially Harley Quinn in this film, I was a bit taken back by it, but in all fairness to her performance in this film, I actually thought she fit the role very well, especially in this grounded, gritty version of the Joker. I bought into her being this psychotic inmate of Arkham Asylum who would be into a guy like Arthur Fleck. And it still sort of bothers me that they call her Lee Quinzel, even though at one point they just put Quinn up on the screen during one of the musicals. Either way, just call characters their name. Like, why do we have to get so convoluted with things? But one thing I enjoyed about Lady Gaga's performance in this film was it felt authentic at times, but her backstory as this character in Arkham Asylum actually has some really good nods to comic book references. And real quick, the best advice I can ever give you if you're watching my video right now is never start dating someone that you meet in an insane asylum. It just never turns out good. Trust me. I love me a good courtroom drama film like this or this right here, and going into Joker 2, that was one of the concepts that really intrigued me about this film. And I will say, some of my favorite scenes in this film take place in this courtroom setting, and they really do give you some more backstory on the character Arthur Fleck. And if you thought his life was terrible already, no. They expand on it so much more. And I was like, this is almost depressing. And does some of the witness testimony feel a little bit forced? Like, how would they know this much about this character that they've only interacted with 3 times? Yeah, it feels a little forced, but nevertheless, I enjoyed what they said. Now, here are my final flicking thoughts on the Joker 2. I feel like if someone were to make a fan edit of this film down the road and remove the musical numbers and maybe re-edit the ending to make it a bit more ambiguous, I think the perception of this movie would be much more positive than it is. That's just a theory, and maybe one day when I get bored, maybe I'll do that. Now, like or hate this film, I love the way that it looks. And keep in mind, this was shot with digital cameras, but for me, this is what digital films should look like. It has a warmth to it, it has a glow, it has a grittiness to it. I love how run down Arkham Asylum is. It feels like a real setting and a real location. And then the movie breaks away into these musical numbers, which sort of just feel blah. So as far as this film goes, it's definitely a mixed bag. There are a lot of elements and scenes and performances that I really enjoyed. I liked the overall look of the film. I liked the Arkham setting. I liked the courtroom drama that happens in the film. But unfortunately, between all of those great moments throughout this film, it's bogged down in a narrative mess. And also, in defense of this film, if they're telling it from the POV of a madman, like Arthur Fleck, then maybe a discombobulated narrative sort of makes sense. But I don't think they quite got that message across at times, if that's what they were going for. And maybe they weren't even going for that, and the movie is simply just a mess. So as far as the Joker 2 goes, if you want a fulfilling sequel, this ain't that. But maybe, just maybe, that was the point they were trying to make. If the message of this film was to show you that life isn't a fairy tale, sometimes life is dark, it's depressing, it's bleak, and sometimes it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I could almost appreciate that, but I still feel like this was a disappointing sequel that didn't live up to the hype that it should have, and I don't really think I'll ever have the urge to rewatch it or revisit it like I have the original from 2019 over and over. I watch it probably at least once a year. And as far as the ending of this film goes, I think there's a million other ways they could have went with it than what they did. I was not a fan of the ending of this film. Not necessarily the outcome, just the way that it was executed.
This town needs an enema.
So I'm going to give the Joker 2 this right here. Now here's my question for you, and let me know down below, what did you think about Joker 2? What did you like and what did you dislike? As always guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, that way I can see you next time.